So, while Washington was busy with tariffs and trade threats, Canada just pulled off one of the boldest institutional power plays in NATO history, and the U.S. was completely blindsided. At a closed-door NATO defense ministers meeting in Brussels last week, Canada's permanent representative delivered a 380-page operational blueprint called the Ottawa Framework for Allied Defense Investment. It's a fully fleshed-out plan to host and run the new NATO Defense Investment Authority, what allies are already privately calling the War Bank, right in Ottawa. The proposal details everything: legal charter, governance structure, bond issuance models, staffing plans, technology specs, even architectural designs for a Northern Command integration facility in Yellowknife. This wasn't a vague idea or a concept paper. It was ready to launch in 18 months. Mark Carney personally pitched it in a 90-minute closed session. One European defense minister later called it the most impressive institutional presentation they'd seen in decades. Canada pledged $85 billion in initial capitalization, the largest single national contribution to any NATO body ever, backed by its sovereign credit rating, critical mineral reserves as collateral, and the strategic Arctic geography itself. No other nation can match that package. And here's the real shock: 14 European NATO members, France, Germany, UK, Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, Poland, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Portugal, Czech Republic, Romania, and Canada, had already signed letters of support before Washington. The coalition was built quietly through Carney's back-channel diplomacy, bypassing the usual U.S. monitored channels. Warren Buffett weighed in fast. In a rare out-of-cycle supplement to Berkshire Hathaway's annual letter, he called it the most important institutional development since the IMF in 1944. He revealed Berkshire has been quietly building positions in European and Canadian defense firms. Rheinmetall, Buffett, Key. Leonardo, for over a year, no new stakes in U.S. primes like Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop, or General Dynamics. Buffett's thesis: the era of fragmented, bilateral, U.S.-dominated procurement is ending. Pooled buying through the War Bank will crush contractor margins, reward multilateral players, and shift the winners to companies inside the new framework. Why does this matter so much? NATO 32 members spend $1.02 trillion on defense annually, the largest military bloc ever. But procurement is a mess: 32 separate negotiations, duplicated systems, incompatible ammo, fragmented logistics, estimated $60, $80 billion wasted yearly on inefficiency alone. Defense contractors exploit the chaos, charging different prices to each buyer. The War Bank fixes that with collective bargaining on steroids. One negotiation for all 32 nations, 15-25% savings on major systems, $90, $150 billion per decade. But savings are secondary. The real power is control. Procurement decisions dictate which contractors win massive orders, which platforms get funded, which nations get tech first. It issues defense bonds backed by 32 sovereigns, safer than U.S. Treasuries, projected $500 billion demand in 5 years. Host country controls markets, underwriters, clearing, manages $120 billion annual joint R&D and AI weapons, quantum crypto, hypersonics, space defense, deciding access, funding, IP. Collateral from critical minerals ties finance to raw materials. Host the War Bank, and you hold the keys to reshaping the Western defense order for a century. Once established, these institutions never move. AMPA in D.C. since 1944, UN in New York since 1952, NATO HQ in Brussels since 1967. Bureaucratic gravity locks it in forever. Local staff, embedded laws, entire ecosystems of banks, law firms, think tanks. Washington's response: stunned silence at first, then a frantic 14-page counter-concept paper drafted in 72 hours. No capitalization plan, no governance, no bond model, just vague claims of U.S. natural leadership. No surprise, America didn't submit anything prepared. Allies were tired of automatic U.S. dominance over every Western institution. Canada fits perfectly. Credible power, close ally, but independent enough to be trusted as neutral host. This isn't anti-American, it's post-American, it's post-American. Carney built a vision where leadership is earned through preparation, not assumed. Canada has the plan, the coalition, the cash, the collateral, the leader. Washington has 14 pages and institutional nostalgia. The NATO Institutional Committee meets in 6 weeks to evaluate. The window closes fast. If Ottawa wins the war bank and the trillion-dollar future of Western defense finance stays there for generations, this story changes the game. Hit subscribe because we're tracking every move. Drop in the comments, does Canada pulling this off weaken U.S. leverage in NATO or force America to finally compete? Like, if you want more breakdowns like this, stay tuned.